Welcome to the Nurses Beyond Borders podcast, where we shine a light on the incredible journey of internationally educated nursing academics shaping the future of nursing in the UK. I'm your host Joshi, and I'm thrilled to have you with us. Today, I'm honored to welcome an outstanding educator and nursing professional, Jonathan, a clinical educator and module lead for Nursing Associate Program at the University of Salford. Jonathan's expertise lies in long-term conditions across lifespan and all fields of nursing practice. With a strong background in surgical nursing, particularly in theatres, he brings a wealth of clinical experience to his teaching. Passionate about inclusive education, he is committed to creating learning experiences that truly reflect the diverse student population at the University of Salford. Since joining the Salford in 2023, Jonathan's dedication and innovation have not gone unnoticed. He has been a finalist for several prestigious local, regional and national awards, including the 2025's Made in Manchester Award, the University of Salford's Apprenticeship Award, and the highly anticipated Student Nursing Times Award for the Educator of the Year and the Teaching Innovator for the Year, a testament to his pioneering work, particularly in integrating podcasting into education and nursing assessment. Jonathan, it's a privilege to have you on my podcast today. Welcome, and I would call you are the podcast pro.
Oh, thank you, Joshi. No, it feels like more like a full circle moment here. We're using podcasting, and I've embedded podcasting into my teaching, so it's a pleasure to be with you, really.
Same with me as well, Jonathan. So, I would want to start, asking you from where you started.
Yes.
So where are you from, and what brought you into nursing?
So I was born in Italy, but my family is from Ethiopia, so I have a mixed race background, which really at the start made me feel like a sense of belonging wasn't really there. I didn't really know where to fit culture-wise, because to tell you the truth, sometimes I felt like I wasn't black enough for my African part of the side of the family, but then I wasn't white enough when I was with my peers in Italy. So I always struggled between those duality of my personality, but I now embrace both of my side, the Italian side and also my African side. And I think it all started with that, and graduated in Italy, then straight after that came to England and started to work within the NHS really in a medical ward in 2015. So I've been doing this for a long time now, and after working in the NHS, my last job was at the Christie, working in surgical theatre. So I was one of the anesthetic nurses team, part of cancer surgery, robotic surgery. So it was quite innovative practice that we were doing at the Christie, which is quite a renowned hospital here in Manchester. And I just wanted to have a change. So after that, I just came to University of Salford, and I haven't been here for long, but I feel like I've been here for a long time. But I've been here only for 2 years. And we'll talk about it later, but I found different things that I was like, I don't think that's right. We should do something better with that. So maybe find some strategies that will make it more authentic, our learning environment for the students.
Yeah, but you said you've been here only for a short span, but your credentials are very high or very lengthy.
I don't know how that happened.
Would say. Yeah, so I want to ask, I'm again going back to where you started. So what made you choose nursing?
What made me choose nursing? I always loved taking care of people. I love the hospital environment. I have a family of nurses. My mom is a nurse.
Wow.
My two aunts are nurses. They work in critical care and neurology back in Italy. So I think it's in my blood, really. And we always think about the fact that you're not a nurse just for a job, but it's really part of your personality, and it's part of you as a person, and you should be very proud of being a nurse. And it's almost like a vocation, really, because the amount of pressure that you have, but also the satisfaction of taking care of people, especially in those moments that are most difficult. So if you think about it, Joshi, I used to work in surgery, taking care of patients before they go into surgery, especially if you have cancer, and also right after. So I'm the first person who they see when they wake up after surgery. So it's quite a vulnerable moment that you're sharing with other people and patients. And that's why I feel like nurse is really a vocation. You really need to enjoy this profession to really seek through the opportunities in the future.
Yeah, that's very insightful. So from Italy
Yes.
to UK, why did you decide to move? What made you to take this transition?
Well, it was more regarded for the economical crisis that is still undergoing in Italy, where there are not enough jobs for everyone's, and the nursing workforce in Italy is not as valued as I saw it here in England, and that's one of the benefits that I saw it when I was thinking about to relocate in England, and I wanted to challenge myself. I learned English by myself. I didn't have any academic background in regards to that, so I've learned English through watching movies with subtitles and then without subtitles. And then at the end of my degree, I said, you know what, let me just step out. I'm young enough. Let me just go to England. Let me have an experience. And if I like it, good. If I don't like it, I can go back. But then I remained here now for more than 7 years, and I find that this is my home, really.
Okay. So do your schooling and your your education system, was it based on your native language?
Yeah.
And not in English?
Yeah. So my academic background per se is Italian. So I have a very different perspective that's clashed when I got this job, and it made me realize, I like the way we do things here in Italy, but also I like the way we do things here in England. And I try to compare things, and I'm trying to see if I can apply with my learners and with my students. So I think that's an advantage of having different backgrounds, not only culturally, but also academically, as you said.
Yes,
Definitely.
Yeah. So as you moved into the UK and started working in the NHS, what were the threats or the barriers you faced, and what were the opportunities in front of you?
Well, definitely at the start, Joshi, I won't lie to you, the cultural shock.
Okay.
The Italian culture is very different from the English culture. But in a positive way, I was very surprised to find such a diverse staff team in England. It is quite unheard of until recently. I don't want to generalize everything, but in Italy it's very, very, very not usual to find that you have a doctor from a different background other than white Italian. And I was very surprised to find that we had nurses, doctors, healthcare assistants, support worker from all over. So I had people from Italy, from France, from India, from Nigeria, from Ghana, and it was refreshing. And the other thing is career-wise, is not really as values. I feel like there's still that patriarchal view in Italy where everything that the doctor says, we're going to go for it. While here, it's almost the reverse table. I feel like the patients actually value probably even more our own opinion as nurses in compared to doctors, because they feel like, you're my advocate. You're here with me day in and day out, so you know what's going on behind the scenes. So that I really found that amazing, and I felt like also career progression. You can go anywhere and everywhere if you're a nurse here in England. Really, the sky's the limit. You just need to find the opportunities.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So then what made you move into academia after that vast experience in healthcare?
Yeah, teaching, training. I wanted to make sure that while I'm here, I wanted to create authentic learning environments. I wanted to have enough NHS experience, clinical experience per se, that I could bring into academia, because looking outside in, I felt like some of the things that we're still doing in academia are not really relatable to the current situation of the NHS and what the students will find on placement. And that's why you have so many students that once they're on the first placement, they have that shock. And they don't expect it, the amount of work that it's undergoing, the problem of short staff, and the different skills mix of different professionals. So I was thinking, let me gather more and more experience while I'm working within the clinical setting, and then I can take that with my background into academia to change some things.
Yeah, and I can see that, you are making changes as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the changes, especially with the nursing assessment you're making with the podcast?
Yeah. So we're very similar, Joshi. So we always love to change and try to innovate, trying to find the right thing and the new thing that could work for our learners. So what we're doing in the Nursing Associate program is that we found that podcasting may be a way to assess their critical thinking. And when I say critical thinking, I say professional judgment that all of our learners, when they become registered professional, will need to have when they need to make care decisions. And that, I think, is very, very important, because otherwise there's no point. We can be replaced by AI and robots. So podcasting could be a way that could not substitute, but could be an alternative method to academic writing. And what we're doing now is that we've scaffolded activities to prepare our students for an exam, potentially. So we're currently using podcasts in our seminar settings to talk about diabetes, to talk about stress management, to talk about different long-term conditions, and create an information leaflet per se for the patient, that the patient may listen to it instead of reading it and engage with it. So if you have a patient that is 11 years old, so is a child, but is diabetic and is newly diagnosed diabetic, you will be able to craft a podcast episode that they can listen to, and they can learn more on how they can self-manage their condition, how to take the insulin. So that actually triggers then a more increased depth of critical analysis. You really notice the fact that students are engaging with literature, with systematic review and evidence in a more meaningful way, instead of just saying on an essay according to such and such, but then there's no meaning behind it. They want to do this just to prove academic writing. So that's my goal. And the other thing that I really want to highlight, that I'm sure we'll be on the same page, is academic writing is inherently linked to white supremacy, and how technically this point of view of I need to demonstrate my critical writing only on one way, and that way is to write in such and such way with your referensive as per APA 7 style, and there's no other way for you to demonstrate that you have clinical judgment and you know what's wrong from what's right. Well, in actuality, different culture, including mine, the Ethiopian culture, we transfer knowledge and applied it through conversation, as we're doing it now, through reflections, which are more meaningful, are very linked to the nursing practice, and are passed by generation. And if you look into Salford, we have such a diverse demographic that I find that why not including podcasting, and that the results will be that the student will find it more and more engaging, but also more authentic to their own self. And that's how you're going to be able to find also the fact that the students will come back to university once again. Because we found that there's some sort of like shift where the new generation find that university may not be as useful as before, but now we need to bring them back. How can we use the same method through podcasting, listening, through social media, that can bring our student back to us, so we can transfer knowledge and create critical analysis?
I can see, and I'm with you as well in that, Jonathan. We need to work in ways where we encourage our learners and we appreciate their learning preferences. That's very important. It's not just one size that would fit everyone. So that's wonderful. And you, having got an education from Italy and then having in a different system of education here in the UK, what are the major differences you see, and what do you bring with your vast experience working across different nations?
So I think there's definitely in the Italian academia environment, there is definitely more focus on the practical side of, especially when you're talking about nursing. And my experience in nursing, we found that we had full-on practical, hands-on in regards to that with students. So while here in England, I found that there's quite a lot of barriers that the student will need to check in regards to procedures, in regards to policy that you'll need to follow, that sometimes hinder or prevent sometimes their learning environment. And you may find that you have a third-year student nurse that they're going to a placement and they're not able to demonstrate basic nursing skills because they didn't have enough opportunities, practical wise. But the other thing is that I think the utopia will be a good balance between the theory and the practice, and merging those two things together while also applying innovative teaching methodologies.
Yeah.
That will be the utopia. That will be the goal for us all, I think. So I think there is imbalance there, where in Italy, yes, there is theory, but it's definitely more the practical side that is more pronounced in regards to academia. That's the main thing. And also, on top of that, another layer is the NHS background that I have, and the fact that, okay, I have this Italian background, and now I'm looking into the NHS and I'm seeing, okay, what are the main issues per se that the student will need to be ready once they're registered nurses or nursing associates, and how we can reflect our own materials that we teach to our student and our own assessment. How can those building blocks can prepare the student to the best that they can once they're coming out from university. So that's the goal really that I have.
Yes, yeah. So we as educators, we play a significant role in shaping the future of nursing. So can I ask, what do you bring with your vast experience into nursing education here, and what role you play in decolonization of nursing education here?
Yes. So my approach to teaching really, I call it like, let's have a conversation. And it's the same thing, let's have a conversation with our students. You're always going to have aims and intended learning outcomes, but let's try to not have a passive teaching session. And that's how I always start with a laugh with all of my students, but also I always say, I'm not here by myself. You already have the PowerPoint slides. There is no point of me being here and just stating word by word what it says there. Let's discuss. Let's increase your knowledge and your experience, your experiential background of what you could actually implement. Because I'm not the Oracle. I always say I'm not like Whoopi Goldberg and the Oracle in Ghost. I don't know everything about anything. So I always say, I may come to a point where I'm not aware of such topic, but the student will be able to help you, and that's where co-creation comes into the equation, isn't it? You need to have a two-way street. Same thing with the assessment, but also same thing with teaching, because otherwise you will lose the engagement. Yes. And we want to drift away really from the traditional way of doing things, because unfortunately it's not working anymore. And the other thing linked to that, and you were saying about decolonization, the curriculum. Now, everything needs to be meaningful, and everything needs to be done with intention. Now, you see a lot of higher education institution talking about decolonizing the curriculum, talking about equity, diversity, and inclusion. But sometimes it feels more like a tick box with no intention behind it. What are the action that we are doing to change things in our own environment? Are we doing this just because we want to get an award, or just to make sure that we fill a gap where there was a gap that we recognized too late? Or are we being proactive and we're putting things in place for our students, but also for ourselves? So what I'm doing is, again, I found that one of the things, podcasting, it's a way to demonstrate also with students with the second language, English, to demonstrate their knowledge, to demonstrate their critical analysis, critical thinking. There is a different way to explore what do you know about a certain topic apart from the essay. And that's one thing that we do. But also it's making sure that in our case scenarios, when we talk about clinical skills, we represent everyone. And also is being aware of when we make a mistake, hands up, make a mistake, I wasn't aware of that, but then we actually fix things to do so.
Yes, that's a very, very good point you noted, Jonathan. It's, including diverse case scenario is a very practical approach, which every one of us can implement in healthcare education. That's fantastic.
And then the other thing that we need to allow the student to express their opinion, but also realize that the gaps of knowledge that they might have, they can learn in university. An example that I can give you is also a session that we do in my module, discussing about transgender patient and their access to care, and how to approach the topic of what's the right pronouns, and making sure that we respect every individual no matter
Yes.
what.
Yeah.
And is making aware of every learner, no matter what their background is, that transgender community is visible and needs to be recognized as equal to everyone.
Yeah.
That's a topic and a change and an action that you are doing meaningfully and
Yes.
intentionally, trying to shift the perspective and making sure that decolonization, equity and diversity, we're actually doing with intention. And that's the main thing that I want to do, really.
Yeah, it's embedding that inclusivity in everything we
Exactly.
do. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's great, Jonathan. So what do you want to advise future nurses or your younger self?
Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Be kind to yourself, especially coming out from university, or even coming from another country, and you come to England and you found a great job as a nurse. Try to be kind to yourself. You're not gonna know everything all at once within the first month. Try to drive yourself and take care of your patient without thinking about your ego. Sometimes ego can make you do wrong decision, can make you be involved in a situation that you don't want to be in. So stop and think. That's what we always say to our learners before they go into placement. If you don't know how to do such a thing, don't do it. Ask. Even if you think like, I feel stupid about this. No, you never feel stupid. No one knows everything about anything. That's what I always say.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're always going to end up doing mistakes and doing errors. But allow yourself some breathing time. Allow yourself some breathing time and ask questions. And you'll learn from experience. And then after you're an experienced practitioner, it doesn't stop there. You'll never stop learning. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty sometimes.
With nursing, especially,
You never
are
stop.
a continuous learner. And
Definitely.
we as teachers of nursing as well, we learn every day,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, that's great. That was a very insightful conversation, Jonathan.
Joshi.
But I'm not ending it up now. I got a set of rapid fire questions
Okay.
before we wind up.
Okay.
So is it coffee or tea before a lecture?
Oh, one coffee before the lecture and then teas. Definitely.
Okay.
I'm very specific. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Oh, I'm an early bird. I was already up at 6 o'clock this morning and I was doing emails and marking. So yeah, early bird, definitely.
Okay. If you could teach anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Salford.
Okay.
Salford.
Wow.
I could say Harvard, Yale, but why can't Salford be the top standard, the gold standard?
Yes.
It is already. So
Yeah.
why not stay here?
Fantastic. Here we go.
Yeah.
What's your go-to stress reliever after a long day?
Oh, music. I like to just unwind with music and cooking. I have to follow through my Italian heritage about cooking. So
Do you cook a lot of Italian?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, good.
Definitely. Yes.
Good. And if you weren't a nurse or teaching nursing, what would you be doing now?
Oh, that's very interesting. Maybe something entrepreneur. Possibly something like getting involved in a new venture. My creative side will definitely need to be involved in some sort of way, definitely.
I could see that you would have been someone in BBC doing a
Oh, yes, I'm
podcast,
ready, I'm ready.
or a host, or
Yeah.
yeah, that's great.
One day.
Yeah. So one thing you love about teaching nursing?
About teaching nursing.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see the students have engaged with me throughout the journey. I like to be in the journey with them and see that I've made some sort of difference.
Yeah.
Whether it's a very small one or a big one, but I like when they come back and give you feedback, because we always need feedback, constructive but also positive, where they say, oh, you made me think about this certain topic in a different way that I never thought about that. And that's what I like. I like to unlock some potential within the student that they didn't know they had.
Yes.
But then coming to university and learning and experiencing my teaching, it allowed them to do so.
Fantastic. And the final one,
Yes.
one thing you would want to change
One thing that I would want to change in, what do you mean?
in nursing education or in practical nursing?
I would love to be in a utopic universe where equality, diversity, and inclusion it's already embedded and is not considered as an added value, but it's already into the curriculum.
Yes.
Because yes, everyone is in the same level playing field, and it's not something that we need to consider just because we need to tick a box.
Yeah, that is very well said. That's what we would want to see in future as well, and I think that's the main aim of this podcast series as well. That's great, Jonathan. It was a very fantastic conversation with you, and I think we can go on talking about podcasting as well. So before we wind up, is there any one last thing you would want to share to our audience who's listening?
No, I just want to really thank you for inviting me for this conversation, and I can tell already that we can have many conversations after this one. There's different topics that we definitely are worth to explore, and this is only the beginning, I think, Joshi, and I was talking to you about it.
Yes.
And I'm so happy to have this conversation with you, really.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jonathan. I think we've got plans as well.
Oh, definitely.
We will collaborate in future. And thank you once again. You're listening to Nurses Beyond Borders podcast series with your host, Joshi. Thanks for listening.